Welcome to another episode of Crosstalk. My name is Kevin Tocci, and I will be your host for the next 30 minutes. As I tell you at the beginning of every one of these programs, the idea of this show is to inform our viewers, both in Whitman and Hanson. If it makes it up to YouTube, then maybe it's more worldwide. But what we try to do is have conversations about things that are going on in the two communities and maybe upcoming events that are somewhere in the area. It might be a local issue. You name it, we try to use this as a focal point for folks to get informed or at least have a little bit of insight so they can go out and maybe research it a little bit more. The gentleman who happens to be sitting to my left, he is not an image out of Alice in Wonderland. He is a good friend of mine who comes on this program on a regular basis. He is a local numismatist, and he usually comes during the National Coin Week in April. So you're like going, what are you talking about? Here we are, it's July. Well, I will tell you, he's got an upcoming event at the Brockton Public Library, and it's geared towards kids ages 7 to 15. Again, the main library, 304 Main Street, and this is going to be on July 19th. It's a Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mr. Hand.
Kevin.
Welcome back,
Thank you
Richard.
for bringing me back to Crosstalk.
Absolutely.
Always a lot of barrels of fun here.
Barrels.
I love it.
Barrels of fun.
Yes.
We're here to kind of get an idea. This is a fantastic idea to kind of get the kids involved. And I see this as a way to be able to plant a seed to cultivate the next generation to get involved with I can't say that it's a hobby that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's one of those things that they can learn about history and get an idea as to some of the currencies and coins that we as a nation have used throughout our history and how it's changed. And talk to me, what made you want to come up with this idea to introduce kids to coins?
Well, as you know, I've done National Coin Week for 10 years now. And when I started off at the Brockton West Branch Library, it was geared just to the kids, young numismatists, we call them YNs. And I started off with 27, and then the numbers grew. And then at some point, I had changed Coin Week to also include the adults. I wanted to grow and share the knowledge, and so that's what I did. And then it seemed like the kids were the numbers were getting lower, and the adults were getting bigger. And I try to correct that this year by taking the group of kids and separating them from the adults, because we always have a theme for National Coin Week. Yep. And as you've met Jimmy Johnson before,
yep.
He was talking about the centennial of World War I, which was probably a little over the children's heads, but the adults loved it. So I brought the YNs into another room, gave them each 3 different mint-marked buffalo or Indian head nickels, and taught them how to put them in the little coin holders, 2x2s they're called, and taught them how to grade the coin and the significance of grading, where the value is usually dependent on the quality, the wear and tear on the coin, what we call a grade from a scale from 1 to 70, and taught them how to grade it, and showed them the different prices on the different scales, like a buffalo head nickel in a grade of 4, which is a good, could be $1.50. But another 1 or 2 grades higher, it's $4. And then to show them further up on the scale, it could be, thousands of dollars. And that's where the value is looking into a coin to see if there's any damage to it. But just to start them off as the basic, like you said, to plant the seed, and hopefully it takes root at some point, earlier or later, or, maybe a little hiatus in between. Like myself, I got the seed planted, and then when I got old enough, I was chasing after cars and girls and, gasoline and perfume. Okay. And then I went into the military and Marine Corps and traveled a little bit here and there, and picked up some coins and paper money on my travels, and it was an adventure. And came back, needed something else to keep myself busy on the side. I wasn't a drinker or a drug addict or anything like that. And got back into it. So I had the stuff at home, kind of in mothballs, and took them out and started it off. And but now I'm to the point where, you know, I've pretty much, and a lot of the coins, or the older coins, are still affordable. You know, depending on the grade. But a lot of you can do a typeset, one of every type of coin that was almost made. So it's really not too far off. The stuff you can find in your pocket could have some value by a mint error or something that's off on the coin.
It's a big thing.
Or like
imperfections.
Yes.
Imperfections.
Yeah, yes. And matter of fact, like I think we've talked this before on previous shows on the Sacagawea dollar coin.
Yep.
That came out in the year 2000, and they were promoting before 2000, near the end of 1999, they were put in Cheerios boxes. 5,550 of them were made with a different tail feather design on it, which I put a PowerPoint together for the kids. And if any adults want to come to the library and watch the PowerPoint, they're more than welcome. But I say this is geared to the kids. But I'm going to show them the design on the tail feathers, and only, like I say, a handful of these have been discovered. I look at every dated 2000 Sacagawea, flip it over to the reverse or the tail side of the coin, look at that tail feather design, because we're looking $5,000. If it's worn a little, $3,000. But if it's like a 70, one hasn't even been found yet in that perfect grade. And what's so funny about that same design too, they made, I believe it was 12 or 24 of them out of 24 karat gold, and the mint had no authorization to do that. Flew them on the space shuttle, brought them back down, and they don't know what to do with them, if they should destroy them because they weren't authorized to make them. So they're sitting in the vault right now. Maybe they'll be in the Smithsonian one of these days, maybe one or two of them, and they'll destroy them. But that was what's so cool about that, with that particular, which could be found in your pocket change. Some have been found. Or you might even find it at a yard sale in a little, almost like the size of a baseball card with a cellophane on it with the coin in it. And with it, on the back of it's a certificate of authenticity. And if you're not a numismatist and you never read about this, you might have got one of those and you threw it in your curio cabinet or in your hat box or shoe box, and time to go look to see if you had one of those, and find somebody professional to help you handle that coin, to get it to a grading company. And don't take it out of the package if you're having the original package. If you find one in circulation, that is fine. But you want to have it certified, authenticated by a professional grading company that'll put it in a special holder made out of like airtight plastic.
I guess my question to you is I would think that adults are easy to captivate because, you know, coins and currency is something that they've dealt with their whole life, and there's a fascination. How do you harvest the fascination from the younger folks, the ones who they might have, I mean, these days kids are more interested in playing on their phones or their iPads and being entertained that way. How do you captivate them so it ends up being something that not only do you plant the seed, but it grows and they're going to want to show their kids?
All right, Kevin. So, like I say, I explained I did have a captive audience, and then I think I kind of ruined it by bringing the adults, and I probably should have separated them. That's what I'm doing now. But I also do 2 other YN programs just for kids up in Manchester, New Hampshire, twice a year at the New Hampshire Coin and Currency Show. I have 35, 40 kids there, and a good handful come back twice a year. And I think it's the aesthetics of the beauty of the coin. Maybe their parents were in it and the parents had kind of enticed them to it. But I'm hoping the beauty and maybe some of the history, you know, hopefully they're still teaching about Ben Franklin and George Washington and all that in the schools, and to relate to some of these things. You know, like even Civil War coins. You could think, geez, was that in Grant's pocket or Abraham Lincoln's pocket? You don't know whose hands it's been. And so hopefully the history, but what brought me to it was beauty as a kid, and which still attracts me to it. I'll buy coins that I think appeal to me.
Sure.
There's some coins it's like,
For me, it was the wheat pennies. I had a couple of Buffalo head nickels. Maybe you'll remember this. Brockton Savings Bank would have the little sleeves that you would pop quarters in, and that would be your way to save. And then I would just kind of look at the years, and it would be like a little thing. I know it sounds it sounds weird, but I'd want to make sure that I got like the newest coin to the oldest that I could find. Now, of course, I'm going to turn this into the bank, and they'll stick it in my savings account.
Right.
And I'll have my book, which people don't do that all that often anymore. It's meant to get like a slip or something. You get a statement, but those were the things that captivated me. And then, in order to fill the glass once again, was when the U.S. Mint did the quarters, the state quarters, and on the back of the quarter would have, different things from that would be, that you would identify with that said state.
Like Massachusetts had the Minuteman on it. And we're doing the America the Beautiful now, one for National Park, National River, Scenic Park from each state is getting their own design now. But, it's funny how you mentioned that little folder from the banks and stuff.
Yeah.
If you still had that folder, those are actually collectible.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So, matter of fact, that's another hobby, too, in itself. People like myself, you can collect World Bank notes, which are affordable and from all over the world. So the coin albums, which we give to the kids, so you can look at it as a beauty, or if you're a person that likes completion or look at it as a puzzle with one of those folders, you want one of every date, every mint mark, and try to find it. And so, there's many ways. So I also do that to the kids, actually. Littleton Coin Company up in New Hampshire, as I need them, they send me cases of coin folders to pass out, which I'll be doing this year for the kids at the YN program I'm doing for Kids and Coins at the Brockton Library, July 19th, starting at 10 a.m. And it's important for them to call and sign up. I've already got a commitment of 57 YN signed up. And at that phone number, I'm not sure if you mentioned that phone number yet.
508, actually, you can see it. It's up on the screen right now. 508-580-7890. This is for the Brockton Public Library, July 19th. And I believe it's extension 301. Or if you happen to be stopping by the main library, stop by the children's room to sign up. Sign up to do that. Let me ask you this, and that is, you furnished me with a list here, and we're going to be flashing those up on the screen in just a moment here as we run down the list. Are you going to be talking about all of these post-colonial issue copper coins?
Well, on this list here, so I said I've put a PowerPoint together because I'm doing a theme of Native Americans on coins. But in 1782, Massachusetts made a law, and it's the first time ever.
Is that one of the coins? Is that one of the coins we're going to show now?
That's going to be showing. And the law in Massachusetts for the cent and half cent had to have a Native American on the coin. So it has a Native American with a bow and arrow on it with a star. And actually, those were what we called coppers. They also made silver coins with the pine tree shilling. But this one here is just, I'm focusing on Native Americans. Also, some of the other pre-colonial, post-colonial that we're talking about were other states that were part of the Union here.
Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and Vermont.
Yeah, so those were the ones that the states authorized to make them. Before that, there was unauthorized issues. Massachusetts had unauthorized issues too.
Really?
But we needed coins. There was not enough coins. We were relying on guineas and pestas and your pesos from other countries. We weren't making our own money yet.
I still find these days it's funny. I actually had one day. I was over at the store and I had a Canadian. I forgot what the coin was. I don't know if I had a couple nickels or a quarter. And the girl goes, "Oh, I can't take this." I go, "What are you talking about? I spend these all the time, so I can't." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. I put it in my pocket. Now, 2 days later, I did spend it at a Dunkin' Donuts. Nobody will ever know that.
Right. Some people, that's good that she was paying attention because in reality, the bank doesn't really want them. But they usually roll them up, and the bank doesn't know what's in the roll. I actually have a friend that works at a laundromat part-time, and he gets Canadian coins all the time. And we just had a meeting on other hobby nights, but he always brings in his finds from the laundromat.
Wow.
And he's actually paid for 2 trips to Canada with the Canadian quarters that he's gotten, but it's the silver quarters. And they did like a kind of a centennial quarter, like our state quarter program up there. But he brought in a whole bucket of just recent quarters from Canada. He's going to go to Canada with them again and cash them in for the paper money and spend the money here that he's getting for free. I look for those, the coin style machines. I'm always looking in that slot to look for them. But like I say, on these are other images that we'll be talking about too.
Yeah. So the next image we're showing right about now is the IHC 1859 cent, and it's a copper nickel without a shield. Now, what does IHC mean?
Indian head cent.
Okay.
And so that's the first year after the Flying Eagle design, but I say we're focusing on Native American themes. That would be the first variety. It was only 1 year, and it's made out of copper nickel, and on the reverse side of the coin, there's a wreath, and at the top of the wreath, there's nothing there.
Okay.
And then came, in the second year, the variety 2 was from 18...
All right, and now, so again, don't forget, we're showing these for folks at home. So this is the Indian head cent from 1860 to 1864, copper nickel with a shield.
Well, they're only showing one design, so you can imagine by looking at the first one that you're looking at right now, the 1859, and it has the head or the obverse and reverse. Now just imagine from 1860 to 1864, above that wreath on the reverse side of the coin, there's a shield. And it's still made out of copper and nickel. And then we have the third variety.
Right, which the Indian head cent 1864 to 1909. This one had a little bit more longevity, it seems like, or at least it was made or minted for that long. And this was bronze?
Yes, copper. And the reason why, the other ones were short-lived, nickel is very hard. So dies are very expensive to make. So when they're striking those coins, the dies are breaking, and the coins are having die cracks in them and stuff. So they needed something a little bit cheaper and something that could get the dies life a lot longer. So they switched to the bronze, and that would be the variety 3. What's nice about that, it was the last 2 years, 1908 and 1909, is the first time cent was struck at San Francisco. And those have a lot more value. And what's funny is the 1860...
Why, did they clean their presses a little bit better than anybody else? Or?
No, because the mintages were very low with the S Mint, because it was near the end of the series, because also in 1909, it was the last year they made the Indian head cent, but it was the first year they made the Lincoln wheat cent. So that's, so there's only one picture that we're showing, but just imagine on the back there's the shield. Same thing with the third type, the one that was bronze. The shield is there, but it's a different composition.
Okay. So we got here the Indian head nickel.
Correct.
1913 to 1938. And do you have 2 variations of this?
Yeah, the varieties, the first year, 1913, same diameter, 21.2 millimeters, and 21.2 millimeters. 1913, the buffalo on the back, because it's the Indian head, or it got the nickname Buffalo Nickel. The buffalo or American bison, is standing on a mound. And actually that image came from Black Diamond was the buffalo's name, from the Bronx Zoo in New York.
Oh.
They sketched him. So the first year, 1913, the bison is standing on a mound. And then they found it was hard to stack the coins. So in 1913, they made variety 2 all the way up to 1938 on a flat mound.
Okay.
And then we know 1937 was the 3-legged buffalo coin, which, the dies were made right, but when they needed to clean them up, they would polish them. And they actually polished away one of its front legs, and it got the nickname, and that has a lot of value to them.
So then you got here Westward Journey from 2004 to 2005. What is that?
All right, so we're showing just the one image from the 2004.
Yep.
And it has it's a Jefferson 5-cent piece, and it has the piece metal design on it. That was the Westward Journey with President Jefferson gave Lewis and Clark that particular design in the metal gold, silver, and bronze. And depending on the importance of the chiefs of the Indian tribes that they met with Sacagawea, showing them the way to the West Coast, that was the design of the piece metal they were giving to the chiefs. And then they would wear them around their necks. That was a pretty cool thing, that the president was giving these out to their, so depending...
Native Americans, right?
Yeah.
The tribes. Okay.
So that was and there was 4 different designs in the last 2 years, and they actually even changed the profile of Thomas Jefferson on it, and then they eventually went back to the Monticello. But you had the piece metal, you had the American bison, you had the keel boat design, and that's what the boat that they used to get across the Mississippi River. And then when they got to the West Coast, it was oh joy, the view, because they were tired, they were starving, they had eaten probably crickets and anything they could find at times, and when they got to the Pacific Ocean, that was the last design, and they went back to Monticello.
Okay. Now, I think if I'm correct here, you got Sacagawea 2000 to 2008, is that correct?
Correct, and we had talked about the Sacagawea the first year, the different tail designs, and the date in the mint mark and Umplumerus was on the obverse or reverse of the coin. For those short period of years, 2000 to 2001, they were made for circulation, for your pockets. They knew people weren't really into them, so then they only started making them for collectors. You had to pay a little premium. It wasn't a big premium, but you had to buy a roll or a bag of them at a time from the mint. So a lot of some of those designs are only 2,500,000 from 2003 to 2008. And then we're going to be showing in the next image, or there's
the Native American 2009 to today, 2017. What is that?
So yeah, from the Sacagawea, which is still on the head of the Native American dollar coin, but 2000 to 2008, it was Sacagawea with the eagle on the back. 2009 to date, every year they make a design change on the reverse of the coin.
Okay.
And we're probably showing some of those images, and one of those images was the first year, 2009. It was called the Three Sisters.
Okay.
And this is something
that's what we're going to be showing right now.
Yes, one of those images now that shows a Native American squaw planting. You see a stalk of corns. This is something we learned from them. On one mound, you could plant 3 crops. Corn, squash would grow on the bottom, and the green beans or beans would grow up the vine. The squash was kind of prickly, kept the critters away, so that was a contribution that we've got from the Native Americans. And then one of the other designs we're showing, I kind of broke it up, I didn't go right in order, but then it was the 2015. And what's so unique about these coins from 2009 to now, the date and mint mark are on the edge of the coin.
Okay.
And same thing with the presidential series. Some of those don't have that design on the edge, and that's something you could find, because some of these were only made for collectors, but they're showing up in circulation. If you find one without the edge design, adds a lot. It's worth more than $1.
Okay.
So the next one is the Mohawk Ironworkers. They weren't afraid of
2015.
heights. Yeah, the 2015. And with none of these coins, you're going to see the dates on them because they're on the edge of the coin. And
but if you see it.
By myself, by the design.
Okay.
And then the 216, which I gave out 2 years ago to National Coin with the Code Talkers, World War I, World War II.
Yep.
And, they used the Native American language to communicate between our troops, so if the messages were intercepted by the enemy, they weren't able to decode it, and it worked out well. And then like this year, it was Sequoia. He was a brilliant Navajo who did a Cherokee, sorry, did the Cherokee language, and he was also a silversmith.
Okay.
And same deal. They're only made for collectors, but you can find them in circulation, especially if you ride the T, you put in money to get change. They're usually spitting out the dollar coins and not quarters.
We got less than 5 minutes left, so let's kind of quickly go down the list here. So quarter eagle, Indian head penny and dime?
No, so the quarter eagle is a $2.50 piece.
Oh.
A half eagle is a $5 piece. An eagle is a $10 piece, and a double eagle is a $20 piece. But what was unique about the quarter eagle and the half eagle from 1908 to 1929, the image was sunk into the coin.
Oh.
People were nervous when that came out because it would carry germs, but that was obviously disproved. Beautiful design. The eagle, the $10 gold coin, the image was raised, a different design of a Native American on that. And then one of the last coin images that will be showing is a commemorative coin. First came out in 1926 to 1939, but sporadic years. It wasn't every year. The Oregon Trail Memorial.
Okay.
Matter of fact, there's still wagon wheels still in the ground where the people were going to Oregon.
Yeah.
That are still stuck in the mud or in the ground. And then on one side of the coin, it has like a Native American reaching his hand out, like trying to stop the westward expansion of settlers coming out. It's I have one of those coins. It's a beautiful coin.
Wow.
It's a beautiful coin. But Kevin, I really enjoy you having me at Crosstalk and talking about this and helping me and with the kids. With anything, it's the kids. They are our future. And I want to keep it alive because eventually what few coins I own, I want to be able to sell them for a decent price. At least get my money back or make a couple of dollars.
Sure. Well, you only have one other alternative if it isn't coins, right?
Yes.
Stamps.
Yeah. And they've kind of overdone that with how they're doing.
You think so?
Yeah.
But I gotta say,
some of the older ones, Jimmy Johnson's got some nice stamps. And so, those are rare ones. Those still hold their value.
Sure.
Same thing with coins. You have your common coins and your key date coins. Key date coins are the more of the rarer ones or fewer. They'll hold their value and go up in value. The common ones are everybody can afford to buy, but they'll always be common, and the prices go up very slowly and not as quick as, So it's still achievable to own a great piece of history in your hand for affordable. I usually give out magazines for people that can read up on it and check out if they're interested in buying them on online stores.
You're very generous.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, it's something that I like doing.
When you show up here, you bring us gifts. I mean, it's like and I have I think I have everything you've given me at home. And the missus is like, "What is this?" She wants to throw it. I go, "What are you talking about? This is going to be worth money someday."
Especially my slabs that I make for Coin Week.
Exactly.
Selling, if you can find one, National Coin Week slab. On eBay, you'll find some of mine are selling for $50 or more.
That's big.
National Coin Week.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
And Kids and Coins, July 19th.
Don't forget, Kids and Coins, July 19th. You can call the Brockton Public Library, which is 304, the main public library in Brockton, 304 Main Street, 508-580-7890, as you see displayed. Also, you can go to their website, brocktonpubliclibrary.org. That's another episode in the books for Crosstalk. Until next time, have a great day.
I'll drive. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine. All right.